Hi, everybody. My name is Angelica Renaud. I'm the owner of the Math Magician Services, and I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program. You may have seen me on here before, but basically, I just want to let you guys know if you have any comments or just want to interact with me, please leave your comment in the chat section, and I'll try to get to you. Sometimes I get really distracted, so sorry if I seem a little bit like a squirrel. But I wanted to discuss with you guys what I do for my monthly bookkeeping tasks. So if you are a bookkeeper, you're already well aware of what tasks need to be done, but I wanted to kind of show you how I've actually performed those and also how I use those with my Keeper app. If you haven't seen my video on what Keeper is, I would highly suggest going back into Bryce's videos and looking at my video about Keeper, because it is a very awesome tool that I've been able to use in my bookkeeping business. And if you're interested in it, I do have a discount code if you want to sign up with it. And then also just in general, I really enjoy using it. So what I usually do for my monthly bookkeeping tasks involve some categorization, reconciliation, going through profit and loss reports, balance sheet, making sure everything looks tied up and good to go. And then along with the Keeper app, it gives you some extra tasks to do to make sure that you're being as detailed as possible. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what some of those things look like. So this is going to be slightly meta, and I apologize if it's weird, but I'm going to actually pull up my Keeper app. Let me just do something real fast here. It will be kind of I don't think I can anymore. I was going to say I was going to blur some information that I had because I don't want everybody seeing all this, but I don't really think there's a whole lot in there that y'all are going to be able to see anyway. So let me go ahead. Let me get back to this and share my screen. And again, like I said, if you have any questions or just want to talk with me about anything, feel free to let me know. All right. So I'm going to actually get rid of this floating panel here because sometimes it gets in the way. Actually, it's fine where it's at. So hopefully you guys can see my screen, but this is Keeper, and this is one of my clients here. And if I go back, it will actually show me all my clients, but this is the month that I'm working on, which is January of 2023. And so basically what we're going to be doing is taking care of everything that happened in January, as opposed to, I know today is February 1st, we're going to be taking care of everything that January encompassed. So you can add in your own tasks however you want. I added this in just as a reminder, but make sure that any transactions in the bank feed are categorized or coded. This right here shows me the accounts that need to be reconciled. The customer actually labeled this cash, but that is actually a Wells Fargo account, and that is what we will be reconciling today, and I'll show you how to do that. And then the PayPal, we won't actually be able to do that today because the statement doesn't come out until like the 10th of the month. And then they're no longer doing Venmo. So I'm actually going to put a green check mark right here showing that this has been done because it no longer needs to be done. They're no longer using it in the business. So then we have all these other things here, which are really nice that Keeper includes. So some other things that you may not realize, such as uncategorized transactions. You might click on this and you could put in, I don't know, like miscellaneous, if there was like some kind of miscellaneous fee, any type of uncategorized anything, but you can see I have all three of these things selected here. If there were any uncategorized, if there were any uncategorized expenses, any uncategorized assets, or any uncategorized income, miscellaneous, any other random labels, chart of accounts, then everything would show up here, which I'm usually pretty good about staying on top of that every month, so I can go ahead and put a check mark here. Transactions without payees. Some of these may or may not matter as much. I don't usually care about this because these are actual like transfers, like owner's draw usually. So I usually just say, okay, that's good and all. I don't like to usually put the payee for those, but I'll usually check that off. And then expense inconsistency, which is really nice. If there was anything here, let's see, it may give me something. So for instance, if there is something that is labeled, let's see, this Wise Owl, for instance, this is going to be going towards studio setup. But if I click on this, it will actually show me what Wise Owl is usually categorized to. So that's the payee name, but it says that sometimes it's coded to office expenses and sometimes it's coded to studio setup. So what would you like it to be? And this really helps in being able to go, you know what? Yeah, that is actually for studio setup instead of maintenance fees or what have you. So I'm actually going to go ahead and change that here. And then that way you just have a better idea of where everything is going, because there may be some things that you don't realize are not going in the correct account that they should be. So once you change it here, whenever you see a little green thing pop up, it will actually say, okay, that's done. So I'm going to show you another example, Shopify. So this is going to be a subscription to Shopify. If I click on the down arrow here, it says it's usually memberships and subscriptions most of the time, but there are a few that are software subscriptions. So that is actually going to be incorrect. I'm going to code it to memberships and subscriptions. Once you see, it'll show like a little green thing usually, like right here it says transaction saved. In QuickBooks, it's saving that transaction. So whenever I change it here, it's changing it in QuickBooks so that I don't have to go back and forth. But I mean, I could go through all of these if I really wanted to. Sometimes Wise Owl will pop up again, even though I've already changed it. It just hasn't updated yet, but there's other things in here that I could go through. But for all time, there's really not that much going on. But if I wanted to look at just the past month, I don't think there is any any expense inconsistencies. So I'm going to leave this actually blank for right now, and I'll come back to that later. So just click on that. Then I have this right here, duplicate vendors. So this shows me if there's any vendors, contractors, anything like that that are duplicates that have been put in QuickBooks. So they're showing none, which is what we want to see. Duplicate customers. Sometimes a customer will be added twice. It usually tries to find a similarity. So like these two here, Harrelson and Mason, they're more than likely not going to be the same customer. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, all right, that's fine. You showed me what I needed. So preparing 1099s, this is really nice because this will show any contractors that have come through here. We don't need to look at this because I've already done it all, but it will show anybody that's listed as a vendor that meets the threshold, and it will show all their information here. You can actually ask the vendor for a W-9 if you don't have it on file. You can ask the client. You can put a W-9 on file. You can say, yes, it's been filed for 2022. So if I wanted to go back in time, I could. And this, I don't need to do a due date on that anymore because I already finished it. So we don't need to prepare 1099s. That's not necessary. This is something that she had given me a while back. These are just random things that I had kind of put in here that are basically normal to that. So we've kind of gone through this whole list, and what's left is to make sure the categorization is done and then make sure that this is reconciled. So like I said, we can't reconcile PayPal. I'll have to come back sometime later this month, but I do have their statement saved in here. I went ahead of time and I went on to their bank and downloaded the statement, and now it's in here as an attachment so I can just look that up. This is super helpful because I usually have my husband take care of these tasks for me. That's why I'm only going to be showing you like one person stuff, because I'm pretty much going to have him take care of the rest for me sometime this week, because since I'm training him on how to do some of the simpler tasks. But it's really nice because I can ahead of time just grab everything I need and throw it in here for him. That way he doesn't have to spend time searching for the statements online. And you can put your due date in here. Like I know the statement probably isn't going to be available till the 11th. And so it will kind of yell at me and give me a warning like, hey, yeah, this is going to happen. And then, like I said, if you haven't seen my video on Keeper, then I would suggest looking at it because it's super helpful. You can ask questions. So you can see there's been one question that I asked, one question that's been answered. Any client uploads. So whenever she gets the PayPal statement, she can actually upload it in here and I can see that for myself. So it's super helpful in you doing your tasks. So let's go ahead and look at this account. So I'm in their business. I'm going to go to banking while I'm in QuickBooks. And you can see the Venmo has been done, and then here's the PayPal stuff, and here's the cash count. So I pretty much haven't categorized most of January. So what I will end up doing, which, wow, these are a lot of different things from Shell. So I'm going to ask them and just make sure this is right, that they went to this gas station like a billion times. But I would normally categorize all of these. So let's go ahead and categorize them in general. So Corner Pub, this is going to be something for meals. And like this, I'm not sure what this is. So what I could do in Keeper is I could put this in as a uncategorized expense. Save it. And then I can come back here in Keeper and go back to the uncategorized transactions. Let me update this. So I'll click on this, and now this is showing this random thing. So I'm going to ask client, hey, do you happen to know what this was for? Add to the client portal. I can come into the client portal. Yeah, come into the client portal, and I could either send a client email or a client text. Where I'm basically saying, hey, do you want to go ahead and look at this? This is more like an introductory email, but I could come in here and go, there's new questions for you. We have some new questions for you to answer in the portal. And I could send that to her. I don't want to do that right this second, so I will do that sometime later whenever I'm off screen. But it's nice because it will tell you, hey, I'm just waiting on this answer. So then let's go back in here, and I have all of these. I don't know why they're all listed as office expenses, but I will change that in a minute. This is all going to be fuel or vehicle expenses. For the most part, there may be some that aren't. MAPCO is gas station. And I will go back through and ask them and make sure, because that is an unusual amount of expenses, one right after the other at a Shell gas station. So I'm going to change one of these to fuel. And it should update for every single one of those. Okay. So all the ones that are selected, I can go ahead and accept those. They're all vehicle gas and fuel. I could put a rule if I wanted to, but I don't. So Hilton, that is going to be a hotel. And that in there. This is going to be meals. Meals. This is taxes. So let's look up a different tax here. Just taxes paid is what they have. Upwork is going to be contract labor, even though they don't actually have a specific client doing it. Slack is going to be a software subscription. Calendly is going to be a software subscription. And then they have Next Insurance. It's going to be their liability insurance. And then I have these transfers sitting right here. I almost guarantee one of them is from PayPal. And I have this UHY Advisors. So I will look into that. I can usually look it up right here and figure out what that is if I've done it before. and it doesn't look like I have. So I will have to ask them about this as well because I'm not quite sure what that is. But let's go ahead and get these done. I'm going to just make sure in PayPal if there were any transfers that came over. So that's already been done. I don't see any transfers here, but let me get back to this. So that's them putting money into this. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, that was a transfer from them. And then this was money pulled out to them. And I'm going to go ahead and label this as uncategorized expense. And I'm going to do the same exact thing I did using my Keeper app, where I ask her what that is. But now I have everything done. The balance should match, but we're going to reconcile that. So I'll go ahead and reconcile. So if I click on this, which I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. So I don't want y'all to see everybody's information. That is one thing that is frustrating a little bit about Zoom and their stuff. I don't want their account numbers to be shown on here. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again. This is their balance as of 1/31, $89,334.97. 89,334.97. January 31st, 2023. 89,334.97. Okay, so it is showing me that it is off by $87.62. So we're going to have to figure out why that is. There's sometimes that it will pull different things over, but this is kind of a good example here because I was going to suggest, even if it says 0 and everything's good, I would highly suggest, especially if you're starting out with bookkeeping, to kind of go through and make sure that everything matches the way it should. So I have all these items here. And what I might do is this. So you should be able to see my screen split right now. Okay. Trying to just make this slightly bigger. Okay. So we got 12,738.11 and 2842.37 as the credits. Then we have 115, 9,000, 1639, 1709, 735. Basically, I'm just going along here and making sure that this matches. So 1639 again, 135, 525, 136.50, 986, 48.98, 404, 919, 841, 1090. I hate that this is so unmaneuverable sometimes. So I was at 1090. So then there's 1379, 919, 886, 841, 1039, 4218, 1108, 841, 575, 1049, 204.27, 641, 426, 882, 545, 38, 7807, 882. We got 426 again. 3488, 167.14, 919, 1248, 5, 800. But then there's these couple of transactions right here that I guarantee make up this $87.62. So why haven't these come through yet? It's a possibility if it was done on the 31st, which it kind of looks like it, that they just haven't come through yet. So I'm going to go back into the banking. I'm going to click update and see if it will bring over those transactions for me, because it says it was updated a day ago. If it came through on the 31st, then it's more than likely that they just haven't come through QuickBooks yet. So there's a good chance that that's what happened. Yep. So we're missing 5 transactions, all Shell and 7-Eleven and all that. So these are all vehicle expenses, gas, fuel. So I can check all of them, click accept. Now I can go back to my reconciliation page, and those 5 transactions should be in there. Usually this is done a lot smoother. You know, I usually will wait like a day or two before I honestly start doing monthly tasks, but I figured since it's the first of the month, why not show everything? So now it shows my 5 transactions that were left over. The difference is 0. That's what we wanted to see. Finish now, and now I am done with my reconciliation. So now I can come back into Keeper. I can X out of this, and I can say all the transactions have been coded for. Now this is going to be for the cash account, so I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not going to check that off, but I am going to check the reconciliation. I'm going to update this, and now the last reconciled date should show for January 31st right here. Yep, January 31st is where it shows last. And so this will give me an idea here in a little bit whenever we get that in a few days. But yeah, this is really nice. And then you got your profit and loss reports here that you can go through. And then you can actually come through reporting here, which I love this because it just makes it look super professional, where I can put their information, give it a report, put my logo on there, and then I can show a profit and loss report that shows just January stuff. And I can also show the full entire year if I wanted to. I could show the last 3 months as a comparison, could balance sheet on there, whatever. And then I can come through here, their top 10 customers and top 10 vendors. And then if they have any AP aging or AR aging, which they don't, they do everything pretty much cash related. But I could publish that, send it off to her. It's as easy as that. So yeah, that's mostly my monthly tasks. They report sales tax filing through someone else. And they don't usually do that until they get their stuff through PayPal, because that's whenever they actually get their subscription income for PayPal. And that's when they have to report sales tax. But usually, yeah, I would report sales tax for that client if that's something that they needed done for the month. Just making sure that the payroll tax is taken out. So those are some other tasks that I genuinely like to do. So I hope that this video kind of gave you a good idea of what to do as far as monthly tasks, and then as far as everything else goes. So if you are, you know, wanting to ask me any other questions, or you are wanting to know more about Keeper, how to get a decent price, I do, like I said, have a discount code. I think it's like 15% off for whatever the subscription is. I can't remember, but that code is actually in the video that I did for the Keeper app. And then let's see. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much does it as far as my monthly stuff. And of course, I do my normal grinding where I'm doing my marketing and so on and so forth. But yeah, we were actually going to be developing a course where it involves Bryce's marketing and also some information for people that are interested in bookkeeping, and kind of an explanation of how to do it. That way you can start your own bookkeeping business from square one. And so I am very excited to be able to help anybody out if that's something they're wanting to do, because we're thinking of adding myself on into this course where I teach the bookkeeping stuff, and then Bryce comes in with the marketing. So if that's something that you're interested in, please leave it in the comment section below telling us if that is something that you would actually want to do. And of course, if you're just looking for an extra way to reach out to clients and you know, just have better marketing done without having to create endless amounts of content, then please click the link in the description to schedule a free call with Bryce. And yeah, so I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I can do more stuff like this where I'm kind of showing my daily routines of certain things. But any hoodles, I will see y'all later. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your first week of February. And I'll see you, I guess, supposedly next week. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I forget I have to get out of here through YouTube or through Zoom. Bye.